Hi everyone, this is Elaine. Welcome to Flat Earth for Dummies 101. Definition of dummy, indoctrinated in globe from birth. A spinning globe is only true in fairy tales. Only the truth will set you free. The lies were out to get me, to feast upon my brain. Freemasonic wormholes were to blame. Then I saw the way. Now I'm a flat earther. There is no curve, no globe in my mind. The earth is flat. We're the believers, don't eat the deceivers, those who lie.
Things are not as they seem, and this is where the nature of reality really kicks in. Everything we've been told is a lie. Now, 30 years ago, I had a suspicion that we were being lied to. 20 years ago, I was a lot more confident that we are being lied to about quite a lot of things. Today, I'm pretty much very, very sure that almost everything we've been told by our authorities and our governments is a lie. And it's from that perspective that we need to investigate different ways and different routes for humanity and everything we do. We know very, very little about what's really going on, the nature of reality, who we are, why we're here. If anyone tells you they've got it all figured out, they're lying to themselves and they're lying to you. Every so often, this is like the glitch that goes over the surface of the moon. So like, what? And what am I actually looking at when I look up at the moon? There are three holy cows of our education system that I love to talk about. And these three holy cows that many people find untouchable are that we evolved out of apes, humans evolved out of apes. Nothing can travel faster than the speed of light, and energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be converted from one form to another. Now, if you mention these in any kind of scientific debate with professors and very clever people from universities, they'll all sit and nod and argue, yes, absolutely, that's how it is. All bullshit. Absolute lies. The theory of evolution remains a theory of evolution. There is no scientific evidence ever shown that we evolved out of apes. It's all bogus crap that was put into our history books to remove us from a creator or any kind of creation process or the possibility of being created by other ETs or any such activity. So the theory of evolution is all part of the long line of lies and misinformation and deception that goes back thousands of years. It's not something that started recently, right? The fact that nothing can travel faster than the speed of light was shattered already in 2005, but many ways has been shattered already. Even when Paul Dirac won his Nobel Prize in 1933. Actually, part of the Nobel Prize, or his quantum theory that he won the prize for, shows that subatomic particles move faster than the speed of light. But that was never brought up while he was receiving his Nobel Prize. So all these, it's just such nonsensical crap, and we all buy it because we believe these people at university are very clever. So at 2005, at the Middle Tennessee State University, two undergraduates and three high school students, I believe, propelled sound faster than the speed of light. And this is very quickly written up in the American Institute of Physics in 2007 and then hidden from sight. And again, this is what they do all the time. They publish it so they can use it as a trump card later. Oh, well, we knew about this all along. Look, we published it in 2005 or 2007. And they hide it because they don't want people to know that you can propel sound faster than the speed of light. Of course you can. Why? Because sound is the source of all things. Sound is the creative source of everything, including light. The best one is that we cannot create or destroy energy. Energy can just be converted from one to another. And then the next breath, they tell us that we all come from the Big Bang. There was nothing, and then suddenly everything is here. So hold on, so I thought you can't create energy. So what happened here? Oh, no, but the energy was already there. It was just in a very, very, very tiny infinitesimal point called a singularity. So it was always there. That's how they get away with the crap that you can't create or destroy energy. So I believe that this is all part of the agenda to keep us dumbed down and manipulated. If you look at the photographs from NASA, if you can believe them, of these spectacular pictures of nebulae, and these nebulae, the Horse Nebulae, and the Eagle Nebulae, and all this nebulae, and the Eye Nebulae, and all this, and they tell us that there are trillions of stars being born every second. I say, okay, wow, but I thought we can't create energy. So surely it takes energy for stars to be born. Where's that energy coming from? Where's it go? Oh, from the vacuum. Oh, but space is a vacuum, so in a vacuum nothing can exist. So that busts EMC square, right? So energy is equal mass times speed of light square. Energy, mass, in a vacuum there's no mass. So if the mass of vacuum is zero, that means 0 times the speed of light is 0. That means there's zero energy in space. So how can anything be created out of... What's going on here? They're just lying to us. Every step of the way we're being fooled and lied to. Spectacular. Another great secret that they've been keeping from us is that water seems to be everywhere in the universe. So there's a vacuum, there's nothing in space, and then all these nebulae are creating stars all the time, and worlds are being formed, but there's nothing, it's a vacuum, so I don't quite understand how that works. You know, where does a vacuum end and where does a nebula begin, and what is at the boundary, at the edge, how does that work? And you know, vacuum is a very powerful thing. You should know that by now. I mean, a vacuum sucks, right? Like, have you seen, go on YouTube and see some of the wonderful, you know, videos that show like, you know, how a vacuum, what happens in a vacuum. It's like, you can't do anything in a vacuum. You can't propel craft in a vacuum. You know, all this, the pictures of gravity and all that. It's like, you can't do that. You can't do that in a vacuum. It doesn't happen. Not going to happen. You can't burn anything, nothing can move. There's nothing. There's zero energy. According to EMC square, there's zero energy. You can't do anything in a vacuum. And then yet, there's water everywhere. How is that possible? So again, NASA hides these things, because in, was it 2009, I think, when they published this, that they found sprawling clouds of cold water vapor around a burgeoning solar system nearby called Hydra. Hydra. Yeah. The water vapor could eventually deliver oceans to the dry planets that are forming in that solar system. So they're just telling us that there's actually water out there, but they've actually been telling us that there's water all around our whole solar system, isn't it? Our entire solar system is surrounded by water in the form of ice. Firstly, we have the Kuiper Belt, which is just, you know, trillions and trillions of pieces of ice floating around there, like this belt around the extreme part of our solar system. And then that is within another big cloud of water or ice called the Oort cloud. So you get the Kuiper Belt, and then the Kuiper Belt and the entire solar system sits in the Oort cloud that surrounds the entire solar system. So they tell us that this solar system called Hydra is surrounded by water, and then actually our entire solar system is surrounded by water, and it looks probably something like this. And is it possible that all of space, or that water, is the stuff that holds the universe together? If the Spirit of God moved across the waters. So what is it that we look at when you look up at the night sky? I don't know anymore. I don't believe anything anymore. I'm starting to question everything. And suddenly this thing called a vacuum that we are told that space is becomes part of the myth and not a scientific fact. So if the moon landings were faked, which by now you should know they were shot by all the moon landings that we've seen, all the images that we've ever seen of the moon landings were shot by Stanley Kubrick on the set of Space Odyssey 2001 in England. If you don't know that, please, I urge you to watch Jay Widener's spectacular documentary called The Kubrick Odyssey. It is truly the best documentary on that subject. And so if we fake the moon landings, how many of us believe that we actually landed on Mars and these little things were put on Mars? Right? Who believes that? I, for one, don't. I now believe that all that stuff was actually shot in northern Canada, on Devon Island, that they staged this entire Mars landing. And all these, if you go and research this, you'll see this is exactly where they were. This was the training area for the Mars landing. And they were training with actual pros that were going to go to Mars were being used here. So all the footage we think we saw from Mars is actually from this place here. So all this stuff is bogus nonsense that keeps us enslaved in a never-ending web of lies and deceptions. But through all the lies and deceptions, there is one common denominator that remains the source of all things. And this is where it gets really exciting. Sound and resonance, the common links of creation. Modern science tells us that we live in an electromagnetic universe. Everything spins and vibrates. I'd like to correct that. I'd like to say that it's not an electromagnetic universe, it's a magneto-electric universe. There's a very big difference between the two. And again, it's a small little subtlety, but it's a very important subtlety, because magnetism is a thing that rules the universe, not electricity. Sound, magneticism, electricity. And you'll see how this chain reaction causes everything that we observe when we look up at the night sky or the nature around us. Ancient civilizations understood sound and frequency, and they used it for everything. They used it as a tool, and they also used it to control and manipulate humanity. This is nothing new.
So they project the image around the ball, and that's how they came up with the globe.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
That's why it's so hard to convince you you've been fooled.
We're the believers, don't heed the deceivers, those who lie.